Hello, 开课了. Today we are going to continue with category B, unrealistic requirements, and we are jumping into B2, which is scope definition. So the core skill that you will learn by the end of today's lesson is naming risk when a team has no prior experience. Again, this is part of the 16 lesson plan. We have 4 categories and 4 lessons per category. If you haven't watched the other classes, I highly recommend that you do so you are caught up and ready to begin today's class with us. So this is how I would teach my student Yuanyou, which is one of my students for business English. I will not be doing everything that I would be doing with him in a real live lesson, but I will share with you some tips, some key facts, and core skills that you can also hopefully benefit from today's lesson. So we have B2 scope definition. So naming the risk when a team has no prior experience. What does that mean to you? I will give my student 60 seconds to think about it and answer. And as I listen to their answers, I will gently offer some guidance, such as this is a new area for the team, or there is a learning curve involved. The idea is that we are going to frame inexperience or lack of experience as a project risk instead of as a personal weakness. So we are talking about a common situation in projects. Sometimes a team is asked to work on something that's completely new. The team may not have experience in that area yet. I will ask my students, do you have an experience like that? Do you have an experience where you have not had the experience of what is requested of you? And then I'll give my students some time to think about it and answer. Okay, good. So in the world of professional English, professional communication, we don't just say, oh, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to do it. We say something like, this is a project risk. Project risk. And I give my student a little bit of time to reflect, and sometimes they take notes. So let's start with some practice. Let's define the problem, and then we will do this one together. Please read. And my student reads, imagine a software team that has never built a mobile app. Suddenly, the client asks them to build one. What challenge might the team face? Think about it. There are many answers, or at least there's more than one answer, and let's go over some of them. Yes, so this is where I first give my students the chance to answer, and then I help them. I help them brainstorm. So some other possibilities, we have lack of experience. We have learning new tools, slower progress. All of these are very natural and often inevitable consequences of, asking a team to build something that they've never done before. And the idea is that when something is new, progress can be slower because the team needs time to learn. So that in itself is also a cost, the learning cost. Keep that in mind. Whenever you feel like something is above your scope, you can share it in a professional, non-emotional way. Now, let's try some more focused language. So I will write 2 phrases, one at a time, and we'll discuss. First, this is a new area for the team. This is a new area for the team. Okay. This means that the team has not worked on this type of problem before. And an example sentence to express this would be, this is a new area for the team, so additional exploration may be needed. The word exploration opens things up for other possibilities. Okay, cool. Let's do the next one. Number 2. There's a learning curve involved. There's a learning curve involved. And what that means is, actually, let me ask you, what is a learning curve? What do you think a learning curve is? Yes, something new. A learning curve means that people may need to have some time to be able to learn this new thing. So it's a curve of how much time. If it's between 5 days to 5 weeks, it's a curve because it's not specific for how much exact time someone needs. And then an example of stating this would be, there's a learning curve involved with this technology. There's a learning curve involved with this technology. Okay, great. Now we're going to look at some examples. Example 1. The team has never used a new programming framework. How would we explain this risk professionally? Good. Try to explain this, and in the beginning, it's natural if you want to use more words, be a little bit more wordy, and then slowly we will adjust to have your answer more concise. Good. As long as you mention something about this being a new area, a new realm, I'll put this word here, realm. Realm is like a new field, a new area or new field. This would be really helpful for a professional answer. Let's do an example, another example. Example 2. The company wants to use a new AI model that the team has never worked with. What can we say as the issue here to give the label? Remember what we mentioned earlier. Yes, if you talk about something along the lines of a learning curve or needs time to learn, that would be correct. Let's go to example 3. The team is asked to build a feature using a completely new technology. How can we define this in a concise label? I'll give you a little bit of time. If you said something along the lines of, this being a new area for the team, and again, something like a learning curve is involved, that would be correct. That would be very, very good. Okay, next we're going to do some framing risk professionally. Framing risk professionally. What does that mean? Okay, so as the teacher, I'm going to tell you that it's important to notice this. So, for example, bad communication. We don't know how to handle something. It would be kind of bad way to say it. We don't know how to handle something. But better communication would be, this is a new area for us. So let me put this on the board. Bad, we don't know how to do this. Good and much better, this is a new area for the team. This way, it does not sound like a weakness. It sounds like a project risk. Again, referring to this project risk. So, why might it be important to communicate this risk early? Why is it better to communicate this early than later? Okay, so we have planning, right? That's one of the possible answers. You have time to plan. Also, you can make timeline adjustments. And then finally, better expectations. The key word here is to communicate. And now we're going to wrap up. This is usually a 50 to 60-minute lesson. I know today we are doing this in a concise manner, mainly because we're not talking it out, right? I'm not having a real student with me. We are doing a kind of a mock lesson, so you can also have a taste of my lessons if you are not currently a student. So wrap up. Let's review. What does new area for the team mean? I'm going to put these 3 questions on the board. What does learning curve mean? Why is it important to communicate this professionally? Think about the answers for all 3. I think here, as we look at this, I think this sentence is key. This is a new area for the team, so additional exploration might be needed. This is excellent. Okay, let's go over this quickly. A new area for the team, what does that mean? If you said something along the lines of something that the team is not familiar with, good. Learning curve, we talked about that earlier. And then important to communicate this professionally. Why is it important to communicate this professionally? I want to see your answers in the comments below. Okay, great. That wraps up today's lesson, B2 scope definition. I will see you in the next one for B3, another lesson in unrealistic requirements. See you in the next one. Bye.